I am going to make such a ridiculously clickbaity title and thumbnail for this one. And this is Phil from the future here, so know that this deck is gonna deliver, baby. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today Michael has given me a very fun challenge, brew around hunting grounds. So, as long as you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, Hunting Grounds has, whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. So this is in theory a repeatable one-sided show and tell effect, which is really neat, and this is going to be a pretty fun one to brew around. And viewers at home, if you have cool ideas to brew around, or even occasionally a good deck list, please consider doing a donation deck list. It is one of the best ways to support the channel and make it so that I have very cool things like Twitch Fit to bring to you all. And here is what I came up with, and I want to talk about Michael's original deck list for a second. Michael's original idea was try to do like Emery artifact bauble stuff to turbo the graveyard as quickly as possible. But in trying to fit in like 4 Emerys and I think a full 8 baubles and some Mox Opals as well, the deck was dipping down to a ridiculously low number of lands, like enough that when I was goldfishing it, I felt pretty uncomfortable. So I bumped up the deck to a more normal amount of lands for a show and tell archetype, which didn't give me a lot of extra room. But one of the things that I absolutely wanted to fit in from the original design was Malevolent Rumble. So this is a cantrip that can find you a land, a lotus petal, a hunting grounds, or your big finishers. And I'll talk about those for a second because Archon of Cruelty is absolutely not the norm here. So here's the thing. And this is something that I think would be pretty easy to miss if you just shoved Emrakul into the deck list. If you cast a Malevolent Rumble and there is an Emrakul in that pile, you either have to take the Emrakul and put it into your hand, or it goes to the graveyard and then your graveyard gets shuffled away and now your hunting grounds is off, which is not fantastic. So we don't get to play Emrakul in this deck. And the original version submitted Grizzlebrand, which I think is fine, but Orcish Bowmasters is in about the top 5 most played creatures in the format right now. So I don't know that I want to lean on Grizzlebrand specifically, and I'm going to instead go with Archon of Cruelty here. Now, one cute thing that Michael's deck originally did was play Caracas, with the idea that you can put Atraxa into play, bounce Atraxa with Hunting Grounds, and then replay Atraxa the next time your opponent casts a spell. And that is hilariously cute, and I think totally unnecessary. I think once that Atraxa is in play, if you look at 10 cards and put some other stuff in your hand, I think you're good to go even if you don't immediately re-trigger Hunting Grounds. Like, getting this to trigger a couple of times in the league and successfully put a creature in is what we're going for, and I think once we have that, 7/7 Flying Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelinker in play, I don't know that I want to voluntarily take it out of play. So we're not going to get cute with Caracas in the mana base. And we're already doing a 3-color show and tell mana base, which is a little bit sus. Now, as far as the sideboard goes, I am packing a playset of Swords to Plowshares, and the reason why is very particular to the exact current metagame right now, and I am recording on Wednesday, May 6th. As of right now, Containment Priest is in the top 10 most played creatures in Legacy, which is something that I was not necessarily expecting. Show and Tell is on the rise, and Containment Priest also, hits splash damage on some other decks as well. And that means playing a Show and Tell brew into the current metagame might be a little sus, so I want to make sure that we have ways to answer a Containment Priest once it gets in play. And that does mean that we probably need to cut some corners elsewhere. The deck potentially could use more answers to opposing artifacts and enchantments. Will be a little soft to something like Ensnaring Bridge, for example, if that's something that comes up. But hopefully we don't run into too much of that sort of stuff, and we'll see how far the core of Show and Tell can carry us. One other thing that I was thinking about, but I could not make work with the numbers, I think it is reasonable for this to attempt to be a flow state deck, but in trying to get Hunting Grounds into the deck as well as Malevolent Rumble to support it, I was finding that rather tricky to accomplish. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into a video here, and should you need any Magic cards, please consider getting them from my sponsor, TOAMagic.com, to support me. They've got some really cool cards. I was amazed at all the ridiculous high-end stuff they had in their case over the weekend. So check them out, and if you order, use promo code ThrabenU to save a little bit on your order. Alrighty, let's battle. Okay, opening hand is fine. A little weird here. We have the Show and Tell in the Ancient Tomb to power it out. I don't have the creature yet. I probably just kind of... Hold on. Let's all relax here. Basic Swamp Thoughtseize. Probably respond to that and hide this Show and Tell on top. Let's get Trop, I suppose. And Brainstorm. Oh, those are good cards. I think I'm just going to put an Ancient Tomb 2 down that I want to hide. And honestly, I'll probably just... Sorry, shuffle away. Now I'm just thinking about casting Stock Up next turn rather than Malevolent Rumble. No, I think I'll cast Malevolent Rumble. Stock Up can go on. No, that's not going to work. Blip. Now my opponent will. You know, I guess I have to be checking for my opponent casting Thoughtseize on themselves more often than I am. All right. I am a little wary of casting Show and Tell in this matchup now. Okay. Now I'm going to stock up to look for Force of Will specifically. 2 of them? Or do I take 1 Atraxa? I'll take 1 Atraxa. 2 mana. Animate Dead. No. Cast Show and Tell. So in my memeing here, I don't have Omniscience. And that's kind of a big deal. So hopefully, I don't die for doing this. Believe. Fuck. Alright, so my opponent gets their cards first. And just talking about deck building here, if I was a more traditional, like, Sneak and Show deck, I could lean on Sneak Attack here. I don't know that I can lean on Hunting Grounds as reliably. Alright, so I will get a creature, an instant, a sorcery, and a land. Draw 4. What all did my opponent get? Swamp, Grizzlebrand, Unmask, Shallowgrave. Seems good. I am officially in trouble. Like, we can trade Atraxas or whatever. They can kiss, make out. But my opponent getting back this Raph and Mikey after taking my Force of Will potentially just gives them something that is attacking and that just outright kills me. So there is the Unmask targeting me. I will lose Stock Up here. And then my opponent is going to get to reanimate Raph and Mikey with Shallowgrave. Alright. Damage report. That's an Archon of Cruelty. Yeah. So I lose Atraxa. I can lose a land or something. It doesn't really matter. Because I am at 11 life as of right now. So I am just fully fucking dead. I just full on suspect that this is going to be a bad match for me. I need to win via Hunting Grounds or risk it on Show and Tell. I could just fully give up on Show and Tell, and at that point my blue count is sus. I would be boarding in 4 non-blues and taking out 4 blues. I hate that. It might just be happening. Casting Show and Tell, as we just saw, perhaps not optimal. I could try Swords to Plowshares as well. I don't know that I'm in love with that particularly. I will be just passing the turn here. Next turn I can potentially use Malevolent Rumble to try and find Grafdigger's Cage, which would be cool. Lotus Petal. I will be doing a surveil land here. We'll do the hedge maze. I don't have the green I need yet. Ponder is okay. I think I'm just going to say no to it for the sake of getting deeper and putting cards into my graveyard. I do straight up just need to get to 7 here. So we rumble, get 5 looks at Grafdigger's Cage. Hey, it's Grafdigger's Cage. I'm a genius. Get in there. So this is a great start now. And my opponent's juke might be a show and tell, normally, in which case they probably haven't gone that direction. I am at 7 cards for Hunting Grounds. Let's find Hunting Grounds, huh? Land can go to graveyard. Pass turn. There's land drop. Hey, nice. I will just do this in case my opponent has Daze in their deck. Stock. Oh, it's Hunting Grounds. And I can do Brainstorm to protect it. Nice, nice, nice. I think it's actually working. I think I'm going to get to do the thing with Hunting Grounds. Yes. Yes. White. And green. Hunting Grounds is officially in play. So now, whenever my opponent casts a spell, I get a creature. The thing is, I have a smaller library than them. They could pass the turn forever and deck me. Hopefully they get bored and cast a spell. They don't really know what to do if they don't. I guess I cast Atraxa eventually. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can use Lotus Petal to cast Atraxa. And I'm going to go Tomb, and I'll just rumble and go through those. Rest can go on bottom. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I have Bant plus black in the form of Lotus Petal. All right. The hard cast Atraxa Dream. 14 cards in my graveyard. Ooh, I'm out of surveillance. Oh, that's fine. More other Hunting Grounds. White, green, blue. Then I need black plus 3. I think I'm fine doing this. All right, there is Atraxa. We did it. We did it. Now, did the Hunting Grounds win the game? I'll leave that up to you to decide. Like, legitimately, I think that it did. Like, this keeps my opponent from casting spells for the rest of the game, and then I just need to resolve something eventually. Or my opponent can just, like, call and say, you don't have any creatures, and just try to go. When I'm on the draw here, I think Force of Negation might become better than Veil of Summer. I think I'm going to make that change. My opening hand is kind of mid. I think I'm just going to mulligan it. The second hand is definitely better. I could just get turn 1. I think I'm keeping this, and I think I'll pitch the ETB tapped land. It is an ETB tapped surveil land that doesn't hit a creature, so that is great for me. I think I'm into just turn 1 stock up here. Ancient Tomb. And stock up. The Hunting Grounds is a little awkward right now. I'm still probably taking it. I think I'm going to take Ponder because it's blue for Force of Negation. I don't know, maybe I just take Hunting Grounds and land. Nah, I'm going to do Ponder Hunting Grounds. Badlands comes down. Opponent passes. We'll get one of the duels. Let's get Tundra now, as I technically have more traps. I will just look for something that casts Hunting Grounds. Lotus Petal does it? Lotus Petal technically does it. So this will be 4 cards in graveyard. Lotus Petal will be 5 in graveyard. Force of Negation would be 6. Maybe hitting a cantrip is valuable here. I'm going to actually shuffle that. All right, fetch land is fine. That also casts Hunting Grounds while putting 1 card in graveyard, so that is the same as what Lotus Petal would have done. Third land drop comes down. Opponent has not cast any spells yet. So this gets me Trop. I will resolve Hunting Grounds now, even if it is not on yet. 4th land drop. Opponent passes. This will be 5 in graveyard. Ponder will be 6 in graveyard. And then this land is 7. Rumble? Or do I just shuffle and attempt to get a blue thing for Force of Negation? I think I will shuffle. That is a land. I think I will just immediately turn this on, get a Tundra, and I have Force of Negation available, and Hunting Grounds is currently live. And then, same as before, I will just need to find a Lotus Petal for Atraxa, and I'm good. I think the second Hunting Grounds is unnecessary here, but I already have 2 things to put back via Brainstorm, so I think that's fine. I will Surveil with Hedge Maze. Do not need Island. Brainstorm is fine. Ooh. Are we doing stuff? Oh, thought you were going to cast a spell. I got all excited. All right, that is randomly Atraxa at a graveyard. That's a thing. Oh, these cards are good. I would like more blue cards in hand than what I currently have. But I think it's fine. I'll put back Tomb, take 2, do Malevolent Rumble. Wow, okay, I was kind of hoping for better than that, but all right. Any order on those? I will play the Ancient Tomb. I think this gives me Hardcast Force of Negation and Pitchcast Force of Will, so I think I'm good just passing here. An opponent passes back immediately. Grafdigger's Cage is cool. I like that. I'm just going to sack a spawn here as to not... Yeah, okay, there's Lotus Petal. And I get another one. Lotus Petal, blue card. Any order there. Play Lotus Petal. Play Grafdigger's Cage. And opponent just passes back. And like before, I will intend on casting an Atraxa. There's a Lotus Petal. White, blue, green, black. I think I'll go 1, 2, 3. I think so. All right, there is Hardcast and Atraxa. Look at 10 cards. I will take an Archon. Are we just done? Does that lag burst mean I'm done? Yeah! Hunting Grounds, baby. Now, what we can say definitively is at this time, this Hunting Grounds deck currently has a 100% win rate. Stop the league here! Stop the league here! Get the clickbait! 100% win rate Hunting Grounds deck in Legacy! Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. All right, let's do it. I've got Force of Will, Pitching, Brainstorm, stock up to look for something to do crimes with Archon of Cruelty. Opponent mulligan to 5. We have Force of Will if it's oops all spells, which I haven't seen in a little while, so hopefully that trend continues, because Magic has been fun recently, as both players have wanted to play. Yeah! Fucking here it is, this shit again. Yeah, you can Dark Ritual. Yeah, you can Cabal Ritual. Fuck that card, though. Do I pitch? Which one do I pitch? I think I'm going to hope that I get to stock up here and pitch Brainstorm. I am happy with the cards that are in my hand. Pact of Negation, last card. All right, cool. Because I can do some Surveil lands along the way to stock up here. All right, opponent does not currently have mana, or at least not mana that they are playing out, maybe more accurately. Hedge Maze, Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal lets me stock up immediately. Boy, Show and Tell is kind of weird here, huh? Great. Hunting Grounds also seems bad. I will take this and do stock up now. Boy, Tundra. Stock up. I mean, I'm gonna take it. I just don't feel good about it. Because I think a lot of times when my opponent casts a spell, they will win. Oh, thank God they conceded. Ooh, all right. Opponent does not want to play Magic, so when they thought they had lost, they stopped playing Magic when I was over here fucking sweating it because my deck is sus. Oh, excuse me. My deck currently has 100% win rate. Right. Force of Negation, Grafdigger's Cage, fine. Veil of Summer, probably playable. Consign, interesting. Swords to Plowshares, if I think they are on the sideboard creature plan, is acceptable. We didn't see very much of their deck. I would love to win via concession. That would be great. I think I need these. I think I need these. Veil is totally fine. I don't know that I want to cut creatures or show and tells or any of the remaining hunting grounds. I don't think I want to cut cantrips. I'm starting to have trouble seeing what I do. I could play Veil over Consign. I don't think I'm going to. Yeah, this looks perfectly fine. My opponent kept their 7, so I assume that I'm going to die. Cabal Ritual resolves. Maybe I need to go after that. So there is Spy. My opponent has disconnected. Fantastic. All right, my opponent's back. So let's talk about this Cabal Ritual moment here. So if the follow-up is a creature, then the Force of Negation there is good. And if the follow-up is a Goblin Charbelcher, then answering that Charbelcher is incredibly important. And the Charbelchers are boarded in this configuration. I think this is just a matter of how many Cabal Therapies does my opponent have. Force of Negation is the hit. Did they have another one for if they missed? No, they did not. So that'll do. All right, enjoyable game of Magic. So now I can reconsider whether or not I want Veil of Summer. It's fine. By the same logic as before, I'm not sure if I actually want it. Okay, I am not interested in this hand. This does not stop my opponent from winning. This one is totally fine. I think I will keep this and pitch the Lotus Petal. Opponent is on 6 cards. Don't know that there's a meaningful difference in which one of these I pick up here, but there's a cage. Opponent shocks and duresses me. I imagine that I lose the Force of Will. I am wrong. I will drop a land and pass. Second land comes into play. Opponent doesn't do anything with it. Here we go. I will Hedge Maze to get my other color. There's a Brainstorm. That is an okay card. I think I will just take it. I think I'll just pass there. That way my Brainstorm can potentially be used to hide the Force of Will. Then I will do it at end of turn here. Show and Tell can go back. Brainstorm can go back. I could just redraw that Brainstorm, but I kind of want to get my Surveil land value here. Stock up is fine. I'm happy enough casting that card as we transition into a longer game here. I will take Force of Negation and blue card. And it is my turn again. So I now can show a tell and put in an Atraxa. The issue is that what happens if my opponent has a Goblin Charbelcher? I feel like I lose. I think I'm going to look for Hunting Grounds. Hey, Hunting Grounds. 7 cards in graveyard. There it is. Now my opponent can't cast a spell without giving me an Atraxa. And I might just be playing this until I can hardcast Atraxa and kill my opponent that way. Which is a little unfortunate, but I think is what it is. Opponent is discarding. I will just make some land drops here. Okay, with an end of turn Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will just need Lotus Petal from here. I can put him back Show and Tell anyway. But I will draw Ancient Tomb. Play Ancient Tomb. Pass turn. There's a land drop. End of turn. We're going to start looking for Lotus Petal. Those cards are not Lotus Petal. I will accordingly shuffle them away. Archon's an okay pickup. Nope. I'll dump that into play and pass. My goal is to hold this person in this game for as long as possible so that no other people have to play against this deck. I can just take all of this suffering on myself. What do you think? 20 turns? I think we can be in and out of here in 20 turns. New Atraxa. Straight up, maybe there should be 1 black source in the mana base. I can do this all day. Stock up is great. Fine using the Ancient Tomb for that. Leave open the blue pips for other stuff. Hey, Lotus Petals are great. I'll take 2 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Do this next turn. Put those in play. It begins. I'd like to put an Atraxa into play. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking right. Get out of here. Oops, you trash deck that can't even defeat a Hunting Grounds. You know, another round has gone by, and the Hunting Grounds deck, still 100% win rate. That's all I'm saying as of right now. We haven't lost yet. GG's. All right, I think I keep this hand. It needs a little something something still, but 2 pairs pretty good. All right. Yes, yes, yes. Please don't be Omniscience. Fuck! What a roller coaster of emotion that was. Okay, no Emrakul. That's cool. So you're telling me there's a chance. Opponent gets to look at 5 cards to find an Emrakul or something that deals with my Archon of Cruelty, though. Yeah. Magic is great. GG's. Because if they don't find an out here, I attack and I kill that Archon while taking out half of my opponent's life total. Potentially then telling in another Archon as well. Incredibly high tempo game there. Alright. So, I believe I am attempting to win the game only with Hunting Grounds. Or by hardcasting Atraxa. This league is insane. I feel like a crazy person. Positive connotation. Legitimately, I think we're playing Carpet of Flowers to get black mana for these cards. Oh god. Alright. Am I doing Veil to protect Hunting Grounds? Am I doing Boseiju for maybe answering an Omniscience? Yeah. Consign is also not crazy, I guess. I think I'm into one of these. Here we go. Alright. I don't think we're going anywhere fast anyway. So I think something that has effectively a couple of Surveil lands and a Malevolent Rumble to dig is fine. It's not amazing, but we're not doing anything till there's 7 cards in my graveyard anyway, so buckle up, basically. We'll do the... I guess it doesn't matter which one I do. I'll do the white one. Archive. Oh, I do not need that land. Do I Brainstorm or just Rumble? I think I just Rumble. I think this Brainstorm gets more valuable over time. The upside of Brainstorm is that I can... that's not what I'm looking for. Anyway, the upside of Brainstorm is that I could Brainstorm, fetch, Surveil, and work on trying to dig the graveyard deeper, but this also fills my graveyard. I'm going to take the Ancient Tomb. Again, a major way I am expecting to potentially win is by casting Atraxa, so... With 2 creatures in hand already, I can put a creature on the stack and then intend on casting the second one. Or rather, putting the second one in via Hunting Grounds. Oh, alright, this Brainstorm is now incredibly valuable. Let's fire it off now, try to shuffle away some of this junk. Both? I think I'll keep one. Get rid of Island. Fetch immediately. I think I'll use the other Surveil land now. Stock up's great. Perfectly happy casting a Ponder and picking that up now. Bam, bam, bam. No shuffle. And we have the illusion of strength here. We're pretending like we can interact with things. But I actually have stone cold nothing unless my opponent lets me put in an Atraxa off a Show and Tell. But it's my guess that my opponent doesn't want to cast a Show and Tell until they can do Emrakul immediately, which I'm hoping takes a little while. Or alternatively, that they have boarded out Show and Tells and they are on sneak attack now. In which case, hopefully I have a few turns to find something appropriate. 3 mana. That is a stock up. I'm going to sit here for a second, grab a drink of water, and think about countering that. I just want to plant the idea that there's some fear, or rather that I have some degree of interaction. But these cards are bad. Well, not bad. I will Ponder. Veil. I think I'll just take the stock up of these. I think I'm good with a fetch to clear now. And we'll just take a couple more looks at, hopefully, Force of Will. Hey! 1 Force of Will, 1 Hunting Grounds. Sounds good. And I will pass here. Now I would love a Veil to protect this hunting grounds. Alright, we're at the point where Sneak Attack can come into play. Stock Up can resolve. And I will probably cast my own Stock Up before hunting grounds. Opponent is discarding. Saying no to a mountain. Oh, I just have 2 of them. Fascinating. Alright. Show me your first counter spell. Yeah, you may brainstorm. I don't fight over this first hunting grounds. That is a Force of Negation. That is fine. One has Flow State as well. Makes sense. A lot of the Show and Tell decks aren't maxing out on those, but they are playing a couple to supplement the stock ups. What about now? Oh, it's in play. So I still need to think about Otawara. Like, that's a thing. And my opponent does have some very, very strong spells that they could cast. Oh, they're just going. So I will immediately put in Atraxa. Look at 10 cards, and then get better at this upcoming counterspell fight. Or not. I will pick up Creature, Boseiju as land, Arpit as enchantment, Petal, and Malevolent Rumble. I do pick up 5 cards there. But unfortunately, my opponent has Omniscience. They're in very good shape. Hopefully I get to do other cool things here still. Force of Will, pitch Brainstorm. Hot damn. Opponent was not prepared to fight over that. That's very good for me. If they fought over it, I put in an Archon, and then they can Show and Tell, and I can put in another Archon. I guess I was just thinking deeper than I needed to think. I think I'm gonna... Wow, I didn't board in Force of Negation? What the fuck was I doing? Hold up. Let's do that. I just assumed I had a lot more counterspells in my deck than I actually did there. Blue deck Believe? I think I'm okay with blue deck Believe. Opponent goes to 5. Scalding Tarn and pass. Another copy of Hunting Grounds is fine. Opponent will fetch and presumably surveil. Keeps their card. Oh, are you going? Neat. I mean, that resolves. I am fully not prepared to answer that card. I did not board in Swords, anticipating Hexing Squelcher. Like, I knew it was a card that was in there. I just like, not thinking of it as a potential problem at all. Well, let's Hedge Maze. I will take that. So I'm going to cast this Brainstorm. Cool. This smooths things out a lot. I think I'm going to put the Meticulous Archive back into the deck and fetch it out. And then I think I'll just get rid of Malevolent Rumble. Rumble is fine to fuel Hunting Grounds, but I don't know that we're actually in a hurry here. I think I'm just going to cast reasonable Magic the Gathering cards for a little while. I might just Force of Will that to put a card in my graveyard. I think I'm going to do that. Oh my god. I'm an idiot! Did I just throw away my 100% win rate with this deck? This broken deck? Oh, that was bad. What did I pitch to do that? Yeah, that was fucking stupid. I was fixated this on a 2-2 as a 2-2 that was going to kill me. Oh, that was so bad. All right, we got to get past that. Ancient Tomb. Nah, that can go to graveyard. I wonder if this is going to look like a big brain play in a second where I get like exactly 7 cards in graveyard and Hunting Grounds does its thing. That like very legitimately might happen. Okay, cool. So this is 6. This fetch land is 7. Next turn I can cast 2 copies of Hunting Grounds and have 2 creatures. This might work out. There is another stock up. A primary difference between this time and last time, though, is that there is just a Hexing Squelcher in play, and it will kill me. We don't have these. Oh! I haven't seen an Overmaster in a hot minute. That's neat. I will take 2. I'm going to be at 12 after I fetch, so I will have 6 turns to get to the point where I can cast an Atraxa. Oh, I didn't need to take this point of damage right now. White. Green. Hunting Grounds. Which I'm presuming doesn't resolve. Yep. Green. White. Hunting Grounds. Well, shit. Omniscience gets pitched there. That's an Overmaster. An opponent's just going to ponder. Legitimately can't tell if Overmaster is good or spicy without playing around with that deck. It's a super interesting idea. It's not exactly cantripping silence or anything, but it's neat. I will be taking 2 from an attack here. I am at 8. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Yeah. My beautiful 100% win rate with Hunting Grounds is ruined. GG's. A mirror match seems like it would be pretty tough for us. All right, what is this? Round 4. Opening hand looks fine. Good old windswept heath. I think I'm going to take that as I am not in immediate danger of dying and just play Meticulous Archive this turn. Yes, I will take that. I think it's probably of medium power level here, but the Malevolent Rumble might turn it on. What do you think, Maverick? Taiga Plains. Malevolent Rumble. Yeah, I was in the right ballpark. Weird looking green sun. Must be like a movie art poster, Secret Lair, or something approximately like that. So this is going to be 4 cards to graveyard. 3 from Rumble and Rumble itself. Do I need to fetch here? So this is 4. This is 5. Getting Wastelanded is 6. Presumably, I will just brainstorm and put another thing into play, and it'll be fine. Oh, opponent took Windswept Heath. Just kind of assumed that Wasteland was going to be the take. I was wrong. Then yes, I think I will just do this immediately. Do a Trop and Rumble. I guess I'm taking a land. I already have an Atraxa in hand. So I think next turn I just Brainstorm 6, Fetch Land 7, Hunting Grounds, and then my opponent is in the squeeze. The problem is if they drop a threat this turn that is strong enough that they do not necessarily need to cast another spell to win the game. So for example, if they cast a Green Sun for 3 and get something like a Grist, that could be a problem. A Fable is pretty good. That is resolving. So, Brainstorm. Oh god. Back 1 and 2. Fetch. I think I could have done my mana a little better here, though, because I'm going to have 3 Trops and 1 Meticulous Archive. So I should have just tapped differently. There's a Hunting Grounds. So I have an Atraxa. I can cast that in a minute. So here's 3, 4, 5, and 6 of 8. I will need to find Lotus Petal via Brainstorm and stock up. I think I just take hits from the Goblin Shaman in the meantime. And I guess there's also timelines where my opponent's deck has Bojuka Bog. So I guess that's a thing to think about. I don't know that I'd change my play patterns to specifically play around Bojuka Bog. So I'm going to take 2 in combat here from this Goblin Shaman token. I'm just going to yield to that trigger. Down to 16. Now in the meantime, I can just like brainstorm for show and tell and find something gross in that capacity. We're still playing Magic along the way here. How do I feel about Force of Will? I can probably keep Force Pitch Force and get rid of both Archons in the short term. Or get rid of Land Archon. I'm fine with get rid of Land Archon. Fetch another white source. Tundra. I'll stock up. Those are pretty mid cards. I will take Ponder and Rumble. I don't know, maybe I'm just looking for show and tell, so I take Ponder Fetch. I'll call it good there. My opponent's going to be able to start attacking for 4 per turn cycle, which I don't like. Cast a spell, what's the worst that could happen? Oh, yeah. They are seeking the beast. Archon first? With this many cards in hand? I think Archon first with this many cards in hand. It seems like my opponent is doing this at my end step to attempt to get me to discard some of the cards I draw, which is honestly pretty smart. 4th Airlingas. Okay. I don't think I'm fighting over Seek the Beast here. You can have that. Caracas. All right. That's something I can't counter. Caracas, Atraxa, Hunting Grounds combo. There's Caracas. Weird punish for not Force of Willing, but I think I'm okay. I do just have an Archon of Cruelty in play. This feels reminiscent of play patterns of like playing against standstill. Oh, we're going. They are assuming that I don't have another creature. Prismatic Endings on Hunting Grounds. I will put in an Atraxa. Rigor. I will take Show and Tell. Oh, that got small. I will take Show and Tell, Hunting Grounds, Lotus Petal, Brainstorm, Archon, Ancient Tomb. Done. I think I just force. I will force pitch some card. I got another Archon, baby. I can do this all day. All right. Let's go to Punchies. Yeah, that can go back to my hand. I accept this. In for 9. Opponent sacks a creature, discards a Prismatic Ending. Gonna take half of their life total in damage. Down to 6. Do this because it's fun. Fetch. I don't even think I show and tell. I think I just stock up. Save my fetch land. Yeah. GG. So my opponent is like Naya Green Sun landfall nonsense, which probably means that I want this pile of Swords to Plowshares. And like Grafdigger's text. Grafdigger's Cage has text. Baracus is a thing. I don't have something like a Pithing Needle to stop that. But hopefully Atraxa hitting play, even for just a minute, is fine. I think I could see this as board out Rumble or board out Force of Will. I'm going to try boarding out Force of Will. I think I'm okay with that. I'm in kind of weird territory here where like my opponent technically has Prismatic Ending to answer Hunting Grounds, though protecting that via Force of Will is, I guess, desirable, but I'd rather do 1-for-1 interaction with my opponent's stuff, most of which is going to be creatures. This opening hand looks totally fine. If I get Wastelanded on my first turn after playing Meticulous Archive, though, I don't actually have access to Swords to Plowshares in the short term. I'm hoping to successfully resolve Show and Tell on turn 3 or 4, depending on whether or not I get to Malevolent Rumble on my turn 2. My Urk is fine. I could remove it. I actually think I will. My opponent's deck is probably pretty mana hungry based on what I've seen so far. And I would love to just turn 2 Malevolent Rumble, find my large creature, turn 3 Show and Tell, and then that's a 1-2-3 curve. I have all of my lands to do that. My Urk is fine. I will get Wastelanded here. That will set me back 1 turn. That's okay. Stock up is an okay draw if this game goes longer. Ooh. 2 mana Malevolent Rumble and then only have 2 mana afterwards. I think I'll just say no to that. It's a little interesting if my opponent has another Wasteland, though, which they did not. Opponent fetches Taiga and plays Fable. That is fine. Hunting Grounds with 4 cards in graveyard. That is just live as of next turn. There's my Atraxa. I'll happily take that. And pass. Then next turn, I have my choice of Show and Tell or Hunting Grounds. Fable triggers. Opponent only junks 1 Taiga. I'm going to end up taking 3 from Exalted here. I yield to those triggers for the future. I'm not... Well, I guess I could theoretically respond to the Exalted one. Take 3. Down to 16. 4 mana. Ice Till Explorer. Ooh, with Wasteland in graveyard, that's actually quite bad for me. My opponent made a land drop already. If I get Wastelanded once, that's fine. If I get Wastelanded twice, that's a problem. This is where I need that Lotus Petal that I binned. Alright, we'll just try to draw a Lotus Petal without being able to manipulate for it. Ate that. That was devastating. Opponent now has transformed Reflection of Kiki Jiki as well. I think I'm losing this one. My opponent can float 2 Wastelands in play. If I find a fetch land, I do have 1 basic island. I eat 4 damage this turn, 6 damage the following turn, and I don't think I can give up the Eldrazi spawn token. Dryad Arbor as well come into the party. And there's something else. And Keen-Eyed Curator, which is relevant versus Hunting Grounds. Swords is not going to do it. I take 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus this gets Trample. Yeah, I think you got it there. That's before we get into, like, reflection copying. Alright. GG. I think my plan is okay. It did not pan out, but it was very close to doing so. The Ice Till Explorer was actually very clutch for securing that win. Okay, I'm totally willing to keep this opening hand here. I have a large creature. I have some cantrips. I have some removal to slow down my opponent. No. Let's just shuffle that. Well, we got an Ancient Tomb anyway. Whatever, Show and Tell will be the top card. It's fine. Wasteland is okay. I still have 3 lands. Atraxa is not a fantastic draw here. I'm going to be looking for Show and Tell with this stock up plus land. Find that acceptable. I will take the stock up and leave the fetch land on top. I may or may not cast the stock up next turn. With my opponent playing an ETB tapped land, I absolutely will cast it. When it has Swords to Plowshares in, good to know. Now we get 5 cards here. To look for Show and Tell, or to a much lesser extent, Hunting Grounds. Fully miss. I'll take 2 cantrips here then. And then I'm passing another fetch land for my opponent. And we'll see where that leads. Gaddock Teague? Does that currently do anything against me if I boarded Force of Will out? Nah. Resolves. Yeah, I think I'm just fully not worried about that. Let's attempt to... Maybe I just Ponder. Ponder is 4 looks at what I need. I could still Show and Tell immediately. Hunting Grounds? I think I accept. It's not the Show and Tell that I want. But I have 5 cards in graveyard. This can be 6 and 7 in graveyard from Surveil Land. So I think I'm just good with that. I suspect that the Teague wasn't boarded in against me specifically, but rather just wasn't boarded out. Springheart is fine. Do I just Swords the Dryad Arbor here just to put another card into graveyard? Sure. Grab Tundra and Swords that. I will take 2 from Gaddock Teague. So I can still Brainstorm prior to playing Hunting Grounds, so I think I will. Oh, there's just Show and Tell. I think I will just Show and Tell immediately. I'll put back an Atraxa and 1 Brainstorm. I will fetch, get a Trop, cast Show and Tell, and I'm going to leave up the ability to cast a Swords to Plowshares that I find off in Atraxa. I think there's an argument to put an Archon of Cruelty here as well. Its trigger has the most impact before my opponent does any landfall nonsense. But I think if I have an Archon in play, I don't care about Springheart all that much. Alright, found Swords. Instant, sorcery, land, enchantment. Done. You? I think you. Now, in my current configuration, I don't have Force of Will to protect this Atraxa. I can just go again next turn and put an Archon into play, and I just have a ton of resources. Like, I can go Hunting Grounds into Show and Tell, put in Archon. My opponent can make some 1/1s. I guess if I had Force of Will, they wouldn't be live anyway. Yes. I'm back at 19, though. Unless we start talking about some Containment Priest style hate cards that maybe wouldn't make sense for my opponent to be playing, I think I'm good. Certainly have more than 7 cards in graveyard for Hunting Grounds purposes. So white and green, there's Hunting Grounds. Here is Show and Tell. Put in an Archon. One that has Keen-Eyed Curator. Actually a pretty darn respectable card right now, legitimately. Opponent will lose an insect token, discards Windswept Heath. I'll drop an island and pass turn. My opponent could just funnel a ton of mana in this and turn it into a 7/7 that's protected from the edict effects via the, what are these? Insects. Trigger. That is a Swords. Do I want to Brainstorm first to see if I hit Atraxa? Sure. Did not hit Atraxa. I'll put 2 cards that aren't super relevant back. I'm going to redraw one of them instantly. and put Archon of Cruelty into play. Cause this to be sacrificed. And then I'll lose one of these. I have 13 cards in my graveyard, so I don't think my opponent can take me off of hunting grounds easily. But they can start. I'm fine to F6 my opponent's turn here. They know that I can't Force of Will due to Gaddock. If they don't have a land, I start doing serious damage to their board with Archon of Cruelty. Never mind the just 2-turn clock that it is as well. Cool game of Magic, though. Alright, opponent is going to cast this, bestowing it onto the Keen-Eyed Curator. I do not have a creature right now, so that's in play. Land drops are rather good for my opponent at this stage. They don't have a good attack. I get to send in for 9, while making my opponent sacrifice something. We'll see how highly they value the Gaddock here. Alright, cool. Opponent down to 6. So now I just need to dig for a new creature, maybe. Assault to Plowshares is incredible. I think, given the amount of life that I have, I'm comfortable starting here with a stock up. Nice. There is swords, and Archon might just be better than Atraxa at this stage. Let's swords this thing. I can eat one card from my graveyard if they would like. They would not like. They still have this side around, though. Brainstorm? Probably. A new stock up. We'll put back Ancient Tomb and land, and just go ahead and fetch that stuff away. Pick up a new white source. Lotus Petal can go to play. Put a second hunting ground into play because it's funny. Last turn. Now, I did put opponent to 10 life, so they do survive for another turn. But the Keen-Eyed Curator sticking around could turn it into a 7/7. I don't know, maybe that just doesn't matter. I will take 3 points of damage, which is like taking 0 points of damage. In for 9 points of damage, bringing my opponent to a whopping 1. By similar logic for how I led off last turn, let's stock up. Those cards aren't show and tell. I'll take a stock up and an Atraxa. By the fact that my opponent has Karakas. I don't remember whether or not I've got fetchables. I think they're ETB tapped lands. I maybe have one drop. No, I think that's that. Brainstorm. Show and Tell is great. Put back Ancient Tomb, Misty Rainforest, fetch an ETB tapped land. Doesn't really matter what I do with it. I just have deterministic lethal here. We can put that Hunting Grounds into graveyard. Cast Show and Tell. One has 0 cards in hand. And there is another Archon of Cruelty. I don't believe that we keep winning with this deck. That is 3 wins and 1 loss. GG. Alright. Final round here. Opponent says, howdy, love the content. I hope I'm in for some nonsense. Yup. You are. Scalding Tarn and pass the turn here. Oh, that doesn't look like it's going to have counter spells. Resolves. Some weird things could potentially happen. I'm going to go ahead and surveil land here. Do the white one, Meticulous Archive. I say no to that. Well, here we go. Here is a show and tell. There's Archon. Opponent puts in an Ancient Tomb. Discards an Urza's Tower, and my draw there is not fantastic. My opponent has gotten ramped an extra thing, but they didn't just dump in something like the One Ring, so that's good for me. They can get Metalcraft for this if they make this token, but if they make that token, it just eats it to Archon. Oh, I might be getting away with murder here. My opponent just doesn't have anything immediately. That's an interesting draw. In for 9. Opponent did not play that Karn. They had the mana to. Fascinating. Opponent goes to 8. I think I stock up looking for Force of Will blue card. I think that's my plan. I can get Brainstorm for when something bad goes on the stack. And I guess I pick up Atraxa as something to put in off of Hunting Grounds. So I'll just do an untapped land here. Opponent to 6. Archon was already lethal, so that doesn't change anything. Oh, Ozilek's command is fine. Card going to bottom. Opponent has gone back and forth on whether or not they're tapping this. All right, they're doing this for mana. As a side note, I'm so glad that that doesn't get to just get Vexing Bubble anymore. So this is 6 mana. An opponent can untap some of these lands, tap for multiple. There is a Karn. I need to find Force of Will here. Buck. Put back 1 and 2. And presumably we're going to get into like Ensnaring Bridge territory now. The opponent should attack before they play that. In for 4. And then opponent goes to 2. They need to tap Ancient Tomb? Yeah, that's what I thought. That resolves, unfortunately. And I believe, if memory serves, this was one of the exact cards that I was talking about, like, not wanting to play against. 5 cards in graveyard. Malevolent Rumble will get me to where I need to go. So I will fetch, do Malevolent Rumble. I guess I pick up a Hunting Grounds there. Then, cast Hunting Grounds. The issue is that I don't have any sort of Otawara type thing. I'd like my opponent to put themselves in range to bleed out to an Archon of Cruelty being put in. And I'm not just dead to... Ooh. Alright. We're gaming. There's an Atraxa. Oh god, there was no Force of Will. Shit. And the Force of Wills were just not in the top half of my deck. Alright. Enchantment. Artifact, instant, land, sorcery. Done. One ring resolves, but is perhaps a little uncomfortable here with the opponent at 2. They can untap it, but that second counter on it. Ooh, they are. So this is now lethal. Oh, I think I missed creature with this. Whoops. How are they going to get their ring out of play here? Format script is cute. All right, so that occurs. We'll say no to that. They can untap 2 of their lands. They have another ring, a glaring Fleshraker, then Tormod's Crypt. I'll take a tiny bit of damage there. Opponent junks my graveyard. I will get it right back. They have another way to junk it. But this is still here. Tormod's Crypt to exile. Sure. Dead to ring. Still going. Crack, Soul Guide Lantern, Planar Nexus. Pithing Needle resolves. Would you like to name the one ring? Scalding Tarn. Sure. Here's a Malevolent Rumble. I'll take an Atraxa to hand. 4 cards to graveyard. Cast a Lotus Petal that does not do anything with Karn in play. Yeah. Fetch. Undra. 5 cards in graveyard, no cards in hand. 1, 2, and 3. There is a Show and Tell. I will put in a new Atraxa. I'll keep the one that can attack. Alright. Archon. Force of Will. Stock up. Some land. Some artifact. Done. Bam. And honestly, I can just stop here. I have the Force of Will that I now wanted in case I am required to respond to something from the one ring. Discard a handful of cards. And if my opponent casts a spell, got him. Alright. So there's the card draw. Untapping the one ring. There's some more card draw. So in case you're not sure what the out is there, it's another Kozilek's command that can fully burn me out, which is why I wanted to play towards getting a Force of Will into my hand, and preferably an Archon as well. GG. I do wonder if my opponent just shoves Karn on like turn 3 or 4 instead of activating Urza's Saga. I wonder if they just outright win this game, since there were no Force of Wills until 3/4 of the way through my deck or whatever. Alright, Consign is good. Boseiju needs to be an out to Ensnaring Bridge. I'm not interested in this stuff. These I'll think about. I think Malevolent Rumble is going to be less good here if I want to draw stuff that looks like this. I think I'm going to do all of this, and then maybe I go down 1 Hunting Grounds since it isn't blue. How do we feel about this? So a force pitching a force and turn 2 stock up. Seems fine. Oh! Alright. I mean, that's legit. It's not not something I was thinking about. Like, that was not on my radar of something that I would need to be aware of, but here we are. I'm hoping to stock up into Show and Tell and do Archon. And I guess I have one out to that ley line. Yeah? Yeah? Come on, Show and Tell, baby. You gonna Warping Whale me? Why is this sitting on the stack? I won't be mad if it happens. Okay, nice. There's Show and Tell. I'm gonna take Show and Tell Atraxa here, I think. And just pass turn. Whoop. I'm gonna discard a Hunting Grounds. I should have just played out Lotus Petal. I was thinking about Karn in not doing that, but I guess it's off anyway if Karn happens. And hopefully Karn would not resolve. Alright, Planar Nexus. It is big mana time. Grim Monolith resolves. We're going for payoff cards. That is a Karn. I will say no. I think I Pitch Force and Show and Tell Atraxa. Yeah. Alright, then opponent passes the turn. Disruptor Flute resolves. I can Show and Tell for 6 mana this turn, which is very funny. That's also not bad. Lotus Petal? Ancient Tomb? 6 mana Show and Tell. Put in Atraxa. Opponent just has a land. Force of Will. I think I will just take Show and Tell. Lotus Petal. Hedge Maze. Archon? Done. Lotus Petal to play. I've made my land drop, so we'll call that good there. Hopefully I don't need to Force of Will. I'm not convinced that that card is actually good right now. Resolves. Like, you can tutor? Or Mishra's research desk. Yeah. See if my opponent chains together something sweet. Seems like no. Yeah, resolves. We can put some loyalty on that. And then I will just Show and Tell again. I guess I attack and kill that, so something weird doesn't happen. In at Tezzeret. I am up to 21. All right. Guess I'll fetch then. Yeah. Down to 20. Casual 6 mana Show and Tell like it ain't shit. Opponent is doing a Kozilek's command. Sure. 3 top. Put in Archon. Opponent puts in Manifold Key. I pick up Stock Up, which is a pitch card for Force of Will for whatever my opponent just put on the top of their deck. And then next turn I just have Lethal. Seems fine. There's some crazy Emrakul level uncounterable nonsense that I'm not thinking of. The One Ring. I wonder if it's just better for my opponent to put in the One Ring, draw 1 card, draw 2 more cards on their turn, rather than let this exact thing here happen. Oh yeah, that has Unearth. So now they can exile the top 2 cards of their library. Use one of them until the end of the next turn. They can play that card. So it has to be Kozilek's command. Do I just... Does this cost 1 less? I think I just nuke that. And don't let them get that bonus mana. Because I don't want them to Kozilek's command hit exactly the One Ring and get protection. Opponent had more game than I was expecting there. And no wastes. So now I can't think of any commonly played out here. The Dismember type cards don't kill these creatures. I don't know what they're looking for. Opponent says, well, bit rude, don't you think? Yes, I do. Folks, that's a 4-1 with Hunting Grounds. What an incredibly lucky league. GG. All right, let's wrap this up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. This went so much better than I was expecting it to go. Hunting Grounds legitimately pulled its weight. The setup for this wasn't overly difficult. It did create some incredibly strange and unique games of Magic the Gathering, and it was very, very fun. That said, do I think that if you played a bunch with this deck, you would continue to run as hot as I did today? Probably not. The Hunting Grounds can be interacted with via Graveyard Hate, via enchantment removal, things like Prismatic Endings, your Abrupt Decays, your Assassins, Trophies. You hopefully aren't playing it until it's online so that you always get one trigger. But you can just shove it early and say, this is going to be on in a turn or two, deal with it. And if you use resources on that, I will show and tell you later. Definitely felt awkward in the mirrors where I did not have omniscience. We navigated things pretty well overall, though. I'm very happy with this. Again, we're a little light on outs to things like Ensnaring Bridge. Maybe you do have to sneak something in the game 1 deck that can answer an Ensnaring Bridge. Or maybe you just go like, okay, yeah, whatever, you got it unless I can burn you out via Archon. But this deck was pretty strong. I wasn't expecting it, but it really was. I don't know that I'd run the Veil of Summers again. I was kind of on the fence about boarding them in a number of times. It was just a little hard to board in more than about 4 cards with this deck. Like, you have a little bit of wiggle room, but it's kind of built to do the same thing every time. So maybe you can play another Boseiju, maybe you can play a Force of Vigor, maybe you can play one more Carpet of Flowers, because hardcasting Atraxa was much more of a thing than I thought. I would not mind getting one black source that is fetchable into the mana base, because we were so frequently looking for Lotus Petal to hardcast Atraxa. That was something conceptually that I did not understand when I put together the deck, but very quickly became obvious in playing the deck. So Michael, thank you for giving me this opportunity. This was an absolute blast. This was a really cool league. This one goes into the Phil's Faves playlist that I have been starting up. Because honestly, we've had some banger of leagues lately with a bunch of really cool Nick Fit leagues and whatnot. All right, with that, if you all have any crazy ideas for things to showcase on this channel, the donation decklist queue is always open. Folks, I hope you have a great rest of the day. See ya!